everybody, welcome to episode number 4 of ASKINNATE. Last time was all ladies, this time it's just me by myself. So let's get into question number 1, which comes from Linnell from Las Vegas, Nevada. So she asked about a genetically high cholesterol that runs in her family, and her doctors want to put her on statin drugs. So what should she do about that, or what are some natural ways to deal with that? So a couple things we have to figure out first and foremost. What is cholesterol? You know, why is a high cholesterol bad? Because cholesterol over the years has gotten a pretty bad rap. People are told to avoid it and all kinds of stuff. Well, there's lots of studies that show that dietary cholesterol is much different from blood lab level cholesterol when you test it through a blood test. So cholesterol's main function in the body acts like a firefighter. So imagine there's a fire, your house is on fire, and you see that we need to do something about that, right? You could try with your axe, with your hose, and try to put it out, but you typically need some more help, right? So the firefighters, they come in with their axes and hoses and they put out the fire because that's what they're trained to do. But think of cholesterol like those firefighters. When you have inflammation in your body, then the cholesterol level rises in order to meet the demand of that inflammation. So apply this to a doctor's recommendation of being on certain drugs to lower cholesterol. So let's say cholesterol is double what it should be, and your doctor wants to lower it to get it back closer to normal. Well, by doing that, all you've done is lower the number. You haven't figured out why the inflammation or why the cholesterol was there in the first place and what was causing it to be elevated. So the genetic portion of that is interesting, because oftentimes when something like runs in the family like cholesterol, the common link between you and your other family members typically is that you follow a similar lifestyle. So you grew up eating the same foods, you do the same things in terms of activity, that sort of stuff. So by looking at underlying inflammation and correcting that, oftentimes that cholesterol number is going to come down and down and down because your body simply doesn't need it. So I'll attach a link underneath on a few articles about cholesterol and dealing with it naturally, so you get a more well-rounded sense of what's going on and why it's important in our body, and that just lowering the number is not the healthiest thing to do. Because guess what? Now, by lowering the cholesterol in the body, firefighters, right? So you've lowered the amount of firefighters, but the fire's still raging, okay? So you don't want to necessarily do that because it's just not going to be supportive for your body to deal with that level of inflammation. So I hope that made sense. Again, I'll post some articles so that's a little clearer and you can get a different reference, because we don't want to necessarily change up lab values to be normal without addressing the underlying cause. Question number 2 was, how often do we get adjusted? I assume that we, being Dr. Adana and I, and it's it depends. It's kind of like the recommendations that we give you guys, right? So on most weeks, we get adjusted 1 to 2 times per week. Typically at the beginning of the week and at the end of the week is when we get our adjustments. But there are times where we get adjusted more than that. So you guys get scans, and you see your scans, and sometimes your scan is phenomenal. All white bars, it all looks nice and crisp and clean, and that's the point where you say, okay, your body's doing well, we can stretch out the time between your adjustments. There's other times where your scan is not looking so good. There's some red bars, there's some stuff going on, and our recommendation at that point is, let's see you a little more frequently. And that's the same way that we approach our adjustments and our chiropractic care. If there's something going on in our lives, whether it be a stressful time, whether it's mentally stressful or physically stressful or chemically stressful for that matter, we will get adjusted a little more to clear that out of the system. And then once balance is restored, then we go back to our 1 to 2 times per week. And again, just like with you guys, same recommendation, depending on your lifestyle. We are very active. If you've noticed, if you've been in here during adjustments, we move around a lot. It's not like we're just seated at a desk doing our thing. We're up and about, and we're moving bones and doing stuff. So we're constantly in this state of needing some tuning up, especially on a week where we've had a hard workout maybe, or we've been traveling and there's been plane rides, and maybe we're not in control of the foods that we're able to eat. So our chiropractic care is regulated by our lifestyle, but At this stage in the game, I've been adjusted since I was about, let's say for about 10 years. Dr. Donna's about 12 to 13 years that she's been under chiropractic care. So when we see our scans, and I'll flash an image up of our latest scans so you can see what they look like, we have that nice shape that we're looking for. So it doesn't take a whole lot to maintain our care. So I hope you've found some value in both of those answers and the questions. Keep the questions coming, because the more we get to share, and you can put these things into your life and make sure that you're living as healthy as possible. And if you're watching this through YouTube, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Then you'll get an email update anytime we upload a new video. So you'll always be on top of where we are on Ask Innate and what episode we're on and all of the fun stuff that we're doing at Innate Family Chiropractic. So see you guys next time.